You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. First of all, we're going to get the deluxe manual that explains how everything works. You need to take consideration this is just basically an Android box slapped with a sticker on it and some Emulation installed on the box on an SD card. Like that's it. Like that's the only thing that you're doing. Of course, including 2 controllers. So I'm curious about this thing. How are the controllers? Yeah, first of all, let's smell it. Oh, this one smells very nice, but still slightly chemical. I give this thing a 7 out of 10 when it comes to the quality. And most of the time you can see it when you're looking at the joysticks. You have like a real rubber compound. So the D-pad is not super sturdy with some of these things. Select start over here, A, B, X, Y. Shoulder buttons that feel very nice. On and off switch over here, and they work with 2 AAA batteries. So they're like the knockoff PlayStation controllers. Then we're going to get ourselves the power supply that is actually in 5V, very hard to read. 5V with a barrel jack connection. We're going to get a remote because actually this thing is just an Android box. I will boot up and show you what you can do with it. They will give you a remote with this kit. And then here we're going to get ourselves the Poki box, the Pro Edition. Yeah, and we have seen this box many times before because they are reusing some of these boxes. But this is more like the beefier specs because this is not the basic S905 stuff that we have seen before with the Super Legs. I must say, I really like the sticker they are using. But in overall, this is a Pro Edition. We're also going to check out what I'm going to get when it comes to the performance. And of course, an HDMI cable. Okay, but what are we going to get with the wireless controllers? We're going to get only one single 2.4 GHz dongle, and we're going to get ourselves 2 controllers. So that's what you're going to get. And yeah, plug and play action, and everything needs to be set up with Emulation. Reddit's in the manual. It also explains how you need to set it up if you want to use your own controller, like an Xbox 360. I'm always using that on these devices because they're like plug and play. And ready to go. Let's do a quick overview of the Poki box. Poki box Pro. What are we going to get in this side? It's quite simple. Then we're going to get the input for the power supply, optical out, HDMI out. We're going to get an RJ45 connection, internet. Then we're going to get the AV and the AR port. But take consideration, the AV out port doesn't work that great or not at all. But what are we going to get? We're going to get ourselves an USB 3.0 port, a USB 2.0 port, and then we're going to get ourselves an SD card. This one is 256 GB. Okay guys, so let's take a closer look at the Android function and just want to see what you can do with it. So let's get this controller ready up and let's take a close look at the Android part. Okay, so when you're booting up the Android box, or in this case the Poki box Pro, basically we're going to get ourselves the x86 Max Plus, where this Emulation piece of software is running on. So when booting it up, what you're going to get is basically an Android box, so we can just use all the functionalities. So that's the reason why they sell it like a 2-in-1. You have a retro game system, but also you can basically go to the Play Store in the Android function, add your new application, games, or just use the app installer if you want to sideload some stuff for yourself. Okay, so yes, you can watch some Netflix, but take consideration Netflix will not work perfectly because of the rooted devices. They don't have the option for 1080p and 4K resolutions. But on the other hand, if you want to watch some 4K on the YouTube pages, that will not be a problem, of course, because this box is powerful enough, capable enough to run the 4K images very well. Despite the Android flaws, we can still do some awesome things with it. Sideloading applications is possible and is a really great thing to do if you just want to tinker with emulators and you don't want to use Emulation at all. But also you can just do some things you couldn't do with Emulation when it comes to Android gaming, of course. But let's take a close look at IDA64. Okay guys, so the device is based on Franklin called basically x86 Max Plus 2. So it comes with 4 GB with installed RAM and 32 GB of internal storage. Then it will run with the ARM Cortex A55 that is on 908 MHz clocked. So it's a quite powerful CPU in combination with the GPU that is a Mali G39. So in overall, when you're looking at specs, it's quite interesting to see what you're going to get, and also will see in the performance when it comes to emulation. But these boxes are already running on some older Android version, in this case Android 9, and the thermals going to get quite high. This is just idle for a couple of hours. But in overall, I think these boxes are pretty damn awesome if you want to play some casual games that are controller supported in combination with some other great stuff. Think about like Asphalt, stuff like that will run just fine. But when you're going to boot up the Box Pro, basically what you're going to get is just a basic Android box and the x96 Max Plus, to be honest, or to be exactly. That is what you're going to get, and yeah, that's also what we're going to expect when it comes to the performance. There was nothing be altered there in the inside. For example, when you're looking at a Super Console X. Super Console X is just an Android box, same story, but they basically made a special new case for this, slapped a new label on it, did a little bit more effort when it comes to this product. And when you're looking at the Box, they basically removed the original logo, they added their own sticker and just reselling it as it is. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at the emulation performance. So when you're looking at this box, it's way more powerful than the Super Console X. It's not like a gigantic step up, but it's a step that we needed for a lot of systems. For example, when it comes to Atomic Wave, we don't have the weird glitching anymore and the minor hiccups that we've seen here and there. But with this new improved and powerful CPU, we can play a lot of games that we couldn't play or play with a lot of dips and of course the glitches that we talked about before. A system that didn't run at all on the previous models, we can finally play now, in combination with the Yaba Sanshiro Sega Saturn emulator. It's implemented in the Emulators and it's really damn awesome to see that this game and many other are playing very well. So another system that works very well now is the Sega Dreamcast. I did notice, like especially with more demanding games like this one, we had a lot of slowdowns, glitching, and most of the games that were demanding didn't play that great, but now we can play them. But where it comes to the maximum, that is basically with PlayStation Portable. The reason why, because two-dimensional game will run just fine. I have seen a great performance with this, but when you're going to look into a God of War or more demanding games, then we're going to see where the limitations of this box are. And that's absolutely with PlayStation Portable. So another great example of the performance boost was with N64. I noticed like in Cruising USA that still has some minor glitches or minor hiccups. I noticed that this game plays way better than all the previous models of Android boxes Super Console X versions I have seen. So even here we're going to get a minor upgrade and a minor boost in performance.